Okay, so this is my first video on the Jehovah's Witness movement. And I can remember when I just started learning Christian theology. And how I learned Christian theology was through responses to Jehovah's Witness beliefs. So, what happened to me was I was learning how to refute the beliefs of the Jehovah's Witnesses, but I did not have a theological position of my own in which, after I refuted what they believed, I could then present the correct view and all the implications that come with that. I would tell them the correct view. I would tell them how their interpretation of this particular passage is wrong and that particular passage is wrong, their interpretation. But I was not able to tell them the right way to go. I did not know what my eschatology was. I did not know what my soteriology was. I did not know what my um, what's that other word? That my ecclesiology was. I didn't know what these were, and I was just starting out learning doctrine. So it wasn't very fruitful, in my opinion. But anyways, this video is my first video that I'm going to be posting on Jehovah's Witnesses in years. I have not dealt with the subject in years, but I did, um, I did make a lot of notes over the years of speaking with them and interacting with them, and I made a note in my Bible a long time ago, not very long time ago, 4 years ago. My read through Bible. I'm now copying all the notes from this into this, which is now my personal Bible. Goatskin leather Premier Edition, New American Standard, 1995. Anyways, let's get into this. So, my first video on Jehovah's Witnesses is going to be on the refutation of the passage they use in Proverbs to try and prove that Jesus Christ was a created being. That Jesus Christ was a created being. So what they say is Jesus Christ is the first and highest creation of Jehovah, whose real name is Yahweh, but they call him Jehovah. And Jesus then creates all other things. So when you look at Proverbs chapter 8 and you read verse 22 and verse 30, verse 22 says this: "The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his way, before his works of old." Verse 30, "Then I was beside him as a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him." When you look at this, you see these two verses, and you also read verse 23 and 24. "From everlasting I was established, from the beginning, from the earliest times of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth, when there were no springs abounding." So what they're saying is, this verse, or rather these verses and this entire passage, teaches that Jesus Christ was created. There's a problem with that. It's a big problem. And I'm going to tell you what the problem is and how this misunderstanding even came about. Now, 250 to 150 BC, we have the Hebrew scriptures translated into Greek, the Greek Septuagint. Now, in the Greek Septuagint, there's a Hebrew word called kana. The Hebrew word kana. The Hebrew word kana means take possession or to summon. To summon. Take possession of or to summon. The Hebrew word for create is bara or bara. Bara. The Septuagint, when it was translating the Hebrew word kana into Greek, instead of translating kana into kataomai, because kataomai means to take possession or to summon, instead of translating kana into kataomai, what they did was, the mistake they did was that they translated kana into katidzo. Katidzo. And what is katidzo? Katidzo is the Greek counterpart for the Hebrew word bara or bara, which means create. They mistranslated that word in 3 places in the entire Old Testament, because the Hebrew word kana appears 84 times in the entire Old Testament. It is translated correctly 81 times, but the other 3 are mistranslated. In these 3 places, Genesis 14 verse 19, Proverbs chapter 8 verse 22, and Jeremiah 39 verse 15. You can check these out for yourself. The problem is this. If you were to read Proverbs 8 verse 22 with the Hebrew word bara, what you will have is this. The Lord created me at the beginning of his way, before his works of old. That's what you will have. And that's what you have in the Septuagint. Because instead of using the word bara, what the Septuagint does is it uses the Greek word katidzo. So the Lord katidzo me at the beginning. The Lord created me at the beginning. That's what it says in the Septuagint. And this error persists today. It persists. In that a Jehovah's Witness can read this passage and come away thinking that Jesus Christ was the first created being of God, Jehovah. But, as I said, it's a mistranslation. So what this passage is actually saying is that Jesus Christ was summoned. And he was with the Father before the world was. And Jesus Christ, according to John chapter 1 verse 3, in Colossians chapter 1 verse 15 to 16 and 17, Jesus Christ is the creator of all things. He's not the creator of all other things. He's the creator of all things. So the Jehovah's Witnesses got it wrong when they try to teach that Proverbs chapter 8 verse 22 to 31 teaches that Jesus Christ is the first created being of Jehovah or of Yahweh, because he's not. He's the creator of all things. And he is the second person of the Trinity who was with the Father before the world was, in all eternity, in all time, along with the Holy Spirit, who is the third person of the Trinity. So all Proverbs chapter 8, 22 to 31 is saying is that Jesus Christ was summoned. And this also debunks and refutes the whole belief that Jesus Christ was just a thought in the mind of God, which is the contention of the Oneness Pentecostals. Or one could say the position of the Oneness Pentecostals, if there is a problem with the word contention. So This is just something to refute the whole position of the Jehovah's Witnesses concerning Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22 to 31, which is my first video on Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm going to end this video here because I don't want this to be too long. I've been going for 10 minutes now, and I want you all, after watching this video, to reflect on what I said, and at the same time not being too tired after watching an entire hour. So you all have a good night. Thank you so much for your continued support, and keep me in your prayers. God bless you.